Hello there and welcome. My name is Linda and this is my channel Linda Tea at Home, and you're very welcome today. Hello and warm welcome to my regulars, and if you're new, good to have you along as well, and if you've recently subscribed, thank you so much for doing that. So today's video is the topic really is weight loss, and there's hundreds of videos on at the moment with all the weight loss injections, all the weight loss jabs that people are taking. There's kind of an overload, so I don't really want to go on too much in that vein, but I told you a few weeks ago that I'd started to think about losing some weight. Now the thing with me is, I try not to go on too long about this, but the thing with me is I've always had a thing where I do put weight on, but I've also had been quite lucky that I've always been able to lose weight. I wouldn't say easily, because nothing's easy, is it? It all takes a bit of effort. I don't think I've ever been overweight because I'm somebody that eats to compensate for things. I just like to eat, and I just eat too much, and my main thing is portion sizes. I've looked back at photos of me when I was young, and I came from, obviously, as I'm fairly old, I came from parents who had their formative years in the 30s and 40s. Excuse me. And the war was on when my parents were first married, and the eating habits of people of that time are very different to how we eat now. Now I know you don't need me to tell you it, but sometimes it's worth reminding ourselves. So when I was born in the early 1950s, rationing was still a thing. For a while. So, and during my parents' years of being first married, there was hardly any food around anyway. So it was, as I say, all rationed. So you kind of got used to eating a lot less. You kind of got used to not having, you didn't have any snacks. People didn't snack between meals. There just wasn't anything around. And when I got to be, I don't know, like 5 or 6, we would get pocket money. So this would be sort of mid to late 50s. We would get pocket money, my sister and myself, like most kids then. I used to get two bob a week, I think it was, 2 shillings a week, which, if you don't understand shillings and pence, isn't very much, but it was at the time. We could go to the sweet shop, we would buy some sweets one day a week. They would last us for the rest of the week, and we wouldn't have any more. So it was a very different way of living. Portion sizes were small. My mother's portion sizes were always very small when she cooked, because that's what she knew. And then when I met my who became the boy who became my first husband, his mother was the reverse. She was a bit younger than my mum, but not that much. But she kind of overcompensated, because if she could buy it, whether it was clothing, shoes or food, if she could buy it, now she had money and there was stuff available, she would buy it and she would feed it to her family. And I can remember the first time I went to his house for Sunday lunch, and she presented me, who was quite slim at the time. I don't know what size I was, because I didn't really take too much notice, but I was probably about a 12 or maybe a 14 or something. I mean, I looked very thin when I look back on photos, but I'm not sure how that equated. But anyway, and she gave me this enormous amount of food, and everybody else, her sons, because she only had boys, and somehow people used to feed, I don't know if do we still do that? Feed boys up more than we do girls, I don't know. And I was absolutely, I just couldn't plough my way through all this food. But then when I got married to her son, I kind of adopted that thing, and I used to, I'm not saying as much as her, but I used to give big portions to us. And but having said that, I used to exercise, and I was, had a lot of energy in those days. So my weight was okay. And I got up to about a size 16, but I still looked all right because I'm quite tall and all that sort of thing. There were periods of time, like after I had my first baby, I got a bit fat. I got up to a size 18 and I thought I was enormous. But again, I look at pictures of myself now and I actually wasn't. But then, my weight sort of went up and down. And then, of course, I hit the menopause. And that didn't really help, put some more weight on then. So my weight hasn't really been just because I sit around stuffing my face all the time, or I used to sit around stuffing my face. It was eating too much of the stuff I like, plus drinking wine. I love wine. I don't really drink other spirits very much, but wine is my thing. And of course that's all full of calories. And in the last couple of years or so, I've begun to get a little bit of a sweet tooth. So when I'll have my lunch at home, I'll usually have that followed by some sort of biscuit. And in the evening, myself and current husband, we've got into the habit of having a cup of tea and a piece of cake or a biscuit in the evening. So it all kind of builds up. So it's I wouldn't say I'd had a battle with my weight or gone on diets very much in my life. I've put weight on, but if I've wanted to, I've kind of lost some or most of it. But now, of course, when you get older and you've got this whole thing of your joints are aching and this and that, and I weigh, I don't really know if I want to tell you how much I weigh, but it's a lot. And I asked one of my daughters, and she sort of guessed about 3 or 4 stone lighter than I actually was. I think she was being polite, but I do weigh a lot. But anyway, regardless of that, it's not because of what I weigh or what I look like, really, because I don't think I look that bad. I mean, I do look fat, don't get me wrong, I do look plus size, but it's not really particularly bothered me until I've started to get these aches and pains that I've got. And this heart thing's gone on for ages, so that's not a new thing. But anyway, so I thought, sorry I'm telling you all this stuff, you might have already heard this from me before, but perhaps if you're new you might be interested, I don't know. So anyway, I talked about one of the weight loss jabs and what did you think, and I asked lots of your opinion. I spoke to my family, and basically with a few exceptions, I've got one friend who's anti the jabs because she says, well, we don't know enough about them. But I said to her, I took the contraceptive pill in the 60s and the 70s, and that was new, and some people sadly died from taking that. But we didn't really know. We just thought, well, this is the answer to our prayers, really, in a different sort of way. And fortunately, I was all right, and everybody I knew that took it was all right. But sometimes, it's not. I wouldn't say you take a risk. Well, you kind of take a risk with any sort of medication, don't you? There's always potential for things going wrong, whatever it is. So, in a way, you kind of take a risk. We took a risk taking the contraceptive pill, and most of us, fortunately, are still here to tell the story about it. And that changed our lives in that way, whereas these weight loss jabs are changing people's lives in a different way. So, and I think, I don't think that people are cheating or anything. If you need to lose weight, there's enough people out there that criticise us fatties for being fat, and because there's all sorts of assumptions that go along with that, and we're lazy or we're smelly or we're this or we're that. There's enough of those people that will criticise, and if we're in a position where we can take something or do something to help that, why shouldn't we? They don't criticise us for that as well. So anyway, I thought about this. I've asked your opinion. A lot of you said you take it. A lot of you told me that you've had you or someone you know has had great success. A lot of you have told me, no, I wouldn't put something in my body that I don't know what it's going to do. But the more I'm struggling with moving about now with this hip, I've got an appointment to be examined by just a GP I can't get that for another, I think it's another 2 weeks, possibly 3, the end of July anyway. We're in July 2025 at the moment. But that's the first step to me getting on a list to get this thing done. And so I'm taking steps for that. So I thought long and hard, and I thought, well, I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try after all the thinking I've done, all the research, watching videos, reading stuff, reading about the benefits, reading. I mean, I've found far more positive stuff than negative stuff, although I appreciate that there are negatives about anything. So I'd already started to cut down and reassess what I was eating. And I did seem to lose a couple of pounds. I'm not entirely sure. I bought new scales. I think I would have told you about this. I bought scales at the beginning of this, and I thought, because they'd weigh, when I realised how much I weighed, because I was weighed when I had my heart scan, and I thought, oh God, actually I thought I'd weighed more than I did, but it's still enough. I thought, this is kind of all a bit of a story's taking shape here. So I thought, right, I'm going to try the weight loss injection and see how I go. And one of the main things that was putting me off was the expense, because I'm not rich. I can't just commit myself to endless amounts of 100 up to 200, whatever pounds it is per month. But I thought, well, I'm going to give it a try to kickstart myself and to try and get the weight down, so that when I go for my appointment about my hip, I can get this potentially, possibly, hopefully seen to a bit longer. I mean, if I go to the doctor and they say, well, you've got to lose 4 stone or something, I don't know whether they will or not. And then I've got to start from the beginning, and then I've got to, get in the frame of mind. But I'm in the frame of mind now. So I've started. I've had my first injection a week ago. So my second one is today. I've generally rethought my food. And the other thing with all this is, current husband is also kind of accompanying me on this journey. He's not taking any weight loss jabs, but in the past, it's all, I've had to do one thing for me to eat and another thing for him, but he's going along with me pretty much on this, so that's really good. So I only have to prepare one type of meal. We're both eating a bit less. I've cut out, I've had 1 glass of wine since all this started, because I've read that and been told by numerous people on YouTube that the less fat and sugar you consume, the less likelihood there are of the side effects that are related to that. So I'm doing my best to cut down. I don't know if this liquid that I put in my body has had any effect yet, because I'd started anyway, but even if it's a psychosomatic thing, I don't know. It's good to be wanting less, and I am really. I'm drinking more water. I'm eating more protein. That's not to say. At the weekend when I had 1 glass of wine and I had two squares of chocolate. That high cocoa chocolate. And that was really nice, but that's all I wanted. So it's not a question of like any diet really. If you're absolutely desperate for something, have it, rather than sit there pining for, I don't know, a Malteser or something. I don't know what. But it's lifestyle change, isn't it? So I'm doing a lifestyle change. I'm not just relying on trying to put something in my body to make me not want to eat anything. It's a far sort of deeper, more complex thing. And there's been lots of videos out there, lots of the people that I watch, and probably most of you watch as well. I'm sure we share a lot of the same creators that we watch, have been on these. Everyone says it's a Mounjaro or Ozempic or whatever it is journey, or a weight loss journey. And if I say that, please feel free to send someone around my house to shoot me, because I can't bear that phrase. You know, I mean, life is a journey. I know that is an old phrase, isn't it? Life is a journey, but not everything else is. I mean, it's all part and parcel of the same thing. So I'm not going to say about, you know, a Manjaro journey. I can't bear it, but it puts my teeth on edge. But sometimes you do sort of fall into the habit, don't you? Now, I'm not going to start putting videos out, I don't think, about all this. I mean, I'm to be persuaded if dozens of you, or, you know, loads of you want me to, but there's so much information out there. This is why I'm doing it all in this video, really, just to sort of put you in the picture. I will give you a little update so far on how I've done. If you're not interested, you can put your fingers in your ears. At least I'm not talking about dogs in this video. Yeah, I don't know that there's anything that I can bring to the whole weight loss thing party that other people haven't put out. I mean, I know everyone's an individual, but you know, once you've seen one of these videos, or 2 or 3 of them, I mean, they're all popping up on my feed now because I've been looking at them. Oh, go away, I don't need to know anymore, thank you. So I'm not going to keep on going on about it, and I don't intend to do a whole separate set of weight loss videos. I will, every now and again, I'll just tell you in my normal videos if you're interested, but I'm sure a lot of you couldn't care less. And as I say, I don't know how long this will last. I'm okay affording it at the moment, but you know, it could be a different story, and it might not suit me, or I might be told for some other reason. But if it can get me to get my hip done a bit sooner, I'm all for it. And the other thing with the palpitations thing, I have noticed, now I don't know if I'm imagining this, but I have noticed that they have been fewer. Now but they're not actually related to my weight, but I suppose you know, if your body is generally less healthy than it should be, perhaps that does have an effect on it. I'm not saying they've gone, they haven't, but the real bumpty ones, I haven't had so many of those. So I'm hopeful that maybe they've made the drug has made a difference to that. I don't know that there's much else to tell you about it, really. So I started a week ago, and I mean, I can tell you about the sort of things. I've started just to eat more chicken, more fish. I've always eaten loads of vegetables. I've always eaten loads of salad. I've changed the bread I'm eating to. I've been eating, and I've just been wanting less of everything. I did try Greek yogurt. Oh, that's going to have to go. I can't be doing with you. I'm not a yogurt. I don't like yogurt anyway. I don't really eat plain yogurt. I don't eat any sort of yogurt. And can I say yogurt any more times? But no, it's I mean, I thought, with good intention, I thought, oh yes, with fruit and everything, and I tried it, and honestly, and Weetabix I tried as well, which I've never liked, and I thought, no, I'll give it a go, you know, obviously with no sugar or anything on it, but no, I can't do that. So I'm finding my own way, and you find your own things that you can eat, and I'm sure I will have the occasional treat, but no, I'm feeling okay at the moment anyway, and I'm also trying to have an apple a day, because I thought to myself, there's got to be something in that saying, hasn't there, that an apple a day keeps the doctor away. I mean, we've probably all heard that, and I've never really thought about it. And there's a lot of fruit I don't like, because you know, I find fruit is quite disappointing. It's not that I don't want to eat fruit, a lot of it doesn't really taste as nice as I want it to. I suppose because it's travelled halfway across the world or something, and you know, if it's grown locally, it's nice, isn't it? But when it travels across the world, and we all want fruit 365 days a year, don't we? So yeah, it's never quite so nice. But But I've been eating, I do like a golden, a Granny Smith apple. And so I do eat those fairly regularly, but I thought I'll have one of those after my lunch every day. And I did read somewhere, I can't remember where I saw it the other day, that apparently apples are quite good at getting rid of the visceral fat that you have in your stomach, you know, that goes around your organs. So I thought, well, I'm going to give that a try then. So yeah, just little changes, smaller portions, and that's not been a problem, to be honest. Yeah, more protein, just changing out a few things, and it's just easy. It's easier while current husband's doing it at the same time as well, and I don't have to do different sorts of meals and stuff. But he's allowed to have more treats than me because he puts up with me. So just to tell you then, when I took my first jab, which was the 1st of July, and I'm taking it at night, because a couple of people said they take theirs at night, and I thought, I don't really know why, but I thought that's what I'll do. I don't think you have to take it at the same time or anything every time you put it in you, but you know, I always forget stuff. So I, according to my scales, have lost 8.5 pounds. And I won't say that's in a week, because I think I was already starting before that, but I'm not entirely sure. So that's, but I can't believe that's right, because I don't see it's gone anywhere. I said this to my daughter yesterday. I don't know what's wrong with my scales, because they don't seem to be going up and down. They do seem to be just going down, but I can't see anything. And she actually said to me, maybe it's the fat around your organs that's beginning to go. So if it is, that's fine. So I don't know. I will update you every now and again if you want. I'll be very much reactive as to what you say in the comments, because I know I've got all my regular commenters that will tell me quite honestly what they think. And if you don't want me to tell you about this anymore, or just give you an update every now and again, but I'm not going to start putting out a whole series of Mounjaro videos. As I say, there's enough of those out there that other people do, and I think it's a bit swamped at the moment, isn't it? So that's enough of that subject. What else have I got to tell you? Probably this has gone on for too long, hasn't it? My little dog. Diets and dogs in the same video. There's a bonus for you, especially if you're not interested in diets or dogs. The vet made me laugh last week though. I took Bo to the vet on Friday to have her post-op check, and I said to the vet that I think she's going deaf, because I don't know whether it's selective hearing or whether it's really a problem. And I thought, well, there's probably not much I can do about it anyway. If she's going deaf, she's going deaf. She's getting on a bit, and her she's lying down here, and her way of doing stuff's changed since she's had this second lot of teeth out. She's just in her demeanour's different. Anyway, so I was saying to the vet, and she looked at her paw where she'd had the wart removed, and she said, yeah, she's got to come back next week, so I've got to go back this week to get the stitches out, but that's healing fine. That's probably why she keeps licking at it, because they're a bit loose, and stitches are, the skin goes a bit itchy, doesn't it, when you've got stitches in. And I said about the hearing, and she said, well, but by this time Bo was facing the other way, because she was facing the door. She wanted to get out of there. She'd had a little feel round and everything of the dog, not me. So the vet got on the floor, and she was creeping up behind her, and Bo turned round, and she said, oh well, she seems all right. She heard me sneaking up behind her. And I thought, well, yeah, but dogs sort of know that. I mean, you sort of know if someone's sneaking up behind you, don't you? You don't necessarily have to hear them. And she could probably feel on the floor, because we were on a carpet. We weren't in the actual vet surgery, don't ask. and she could, you know. So I don't think, what I'm saying is I don't think that was conclusive evidence, because she said, oh, does she hear the fridge opening or hear you go for her treats? And I said, well, she doesn't respond to that sort of thing anymore. Anyway, and then this vet started going on. She was ever so nice and everything, but she said, well, yes, well, now I'm getting older. Now I could easily give this woman 30 years, I'm telling you. When I started to get older, and then I started to forget things, and then oh yes, and then I couldn't hear things so well, and she's going on and on about this. I mean, you know, quite a long tale of all the things that she couldn't do now she was getting older. I would have put her about perhaps 40, perhaps 40. And I felt like saying, hello, we're not here about you, love, we're here about my dog. But anyway, so I'm none the wiser on that, whether she's becoming deaf or not. I mean, I can't see any evidence to say that she's hearing properly at the moment. She did suggest, though, that when I take her back, she has her blood pressure taken in case she's having headaches or something, and she's not behaving her normal self because of that, if she's got high blood pressure. So that's another thing for me to worry about, isn't it? Okay, I think that's probably enough for today's video. I'm sorry if it's gone on a bit. My next video, I'm hoping, will be a bit more home decor-y, so that you won't have to listen to doggy stories or diet stories, and that will be for Friday. So today, I'm doing this on Tuesday, so this should go out today if I don't have any problems with my camera or anything. I meant to say, I did, when I recommended Gigi Ongawa and Nanny Gino last week. Thank you ever so much if you went over to their channels. And a lot of you said to me that you couldn't find Deb's channel, Gigi Ongawa. And I tried to link it, but I couldn't find it myself to link. So I find it when I want to watch her, I just put her name in the search. I put Gigi Ongawa in the search engine, and it finds the videos for me. But I don't know quite what the problem is. I did ask Deb, and she said she'd have a look at it, but she's not really very technical. So thank you for trying to look at her videos. If you want to just search by name, so it's Gigi, then the word on, and then GOWER, and then hopefully you can go and have a look over at her channel as well. But thank you for responding to my request to have a look at the girls. So thank you so much. I will see you on Friday. Hopefully I'll have a bit of home decor stuff to do with not exactly, I'm not intending to go and buy any home decor, but the decorating stuff I've got planned, I'm trying to get that done this week as well. So thank you so much for watching. I don't think there's anything I've forgotten to tell you. Thank you for listening to my diet story. As I say, just my diet story, or my diet, or my trying to lose a bit of weight so I can get my hip done. So take care. See you on Friday. Bye for now.